when I saw the T-Bird in it, that's when I really thought it has to be something with the name and the T-Bird related to that movie. So
I need to find the Shag print that had my first car in it, which was a '74 Pinto. No, that'd be so lame. It'd be the lamest Shag print ever. Hi everyone, welcome to another episode of Shag with Ray. I'm with my good friend Paul Brown, who is the inspiration for the show. Because, God, you have a lot of Shag stuff. And the main thing that I love about Shag's work is, to me, it's escapism.
Yeah.
It's like escapism, and it's like a time machine. Mm-hmm. And in this series of prints that you own, where are we going?
Well, as I kind of looked through my print collection and thought about this episode, I thought one good tie-in to the prints we were talking about today is all three the locations are in Palm Springs.
Palm Springs.
Which, Shag definitely has a very strong connection to Palm Springs. Yeah. He has his store is in Palm Springs, which is just unbelievable. Does a ton of business out of there.
When I think of Palm Springs, I think of Shag.
Absolutely.
And, what's going on? So what is the name of this one? And this is supposed to be in Palm Springs.
It is supposed to be kind of, the desert, Palm Springs, and it's the title of it. It's not printed on here.
Oh.
And I've had this one a long time, and I'm almost positive I believe this is called Palm Springs After Dark.
Palm Springs After Dark.
So right off the bat, one of the things that's very interesting about it is this print has sort of a sibling print that's very similar. It's the same location, with some different, people and images in the print, but it's in the daytime, and it's a different color palette. So I thought that was a very interesting take of how to do a print. Sort of two different versions of the same location, so it has the same overhang and the lights and the pool and this amazing pad. So this is the one we're looking at today, Palm Springs After Dark.
So what's going on with the ventriloquist dummies?
So
because there's one in the pool, there's one on the lounge chair, there's two there. I mean,
well, I know
what's going on.
I've had some pretty.
I'm used to seeing like animals, like bulls and monkeys hanging out, but this is a new one.
Leave it to Shag. He always
leave it to Shag.
Comes up with something very interesting that's like it makes you think. What's he thinking here? As we've discussed. In a past episode, Shag's when he does a painting, there's a story that's being told. Yeah. He doesn't tell anybody what the story is because he wants people to have their own interpretation. Yeah. Which I think is fantastic.
Yeah.
My interpretation.
What is it?
And then you can chime in and see what you think.
Okay.
So you've got this, very sophisticated, cool, probably mid-century house looking out over the desert.
Yeah. Nighttime,
it's warm. They probably had some cocktails. So you have these sophisticated, attractive ladies.
Yeah.
And my take is around women like this, all men are a little bit kind of puppets.
Yeah, I guess so.
So that's kind of like kind of refined down a little bit of my interpretation that, these guys are kind of puppets doing, what the women say or, liking what the women say, probably trying to get in their good graces.
So anyone out there, if you're watching this episode and you know what the story is behind, what was this, Palm Springs After Dark is what you said? Mm-hmm. Please, in the comment section below, let us know what's going on here. But I think I'll go with that one. Because I don't know if, the interesting thing is they're all wearing different outfits.
Yeah.
So it ain't like they're all Charlie McCarthy or anything like that.
Yeah.
But again, that's the thing that I like about his prints is that there's that element of mystery. Mm-hmm. What is going on here?
Yeah.
Because there's always something that's off, for a bit of a word. And
if Shag's ever watching, I would love it, Shag, if sometime you took some of your prints or paintings and did a little book like. This was kind of my thought process on this one. Maybe after the print's been out, 10 or 12 years or something.
Yeah.
I would also really enjoy seeing in the comments other people's interpretation of the print, and what they think. Because Probably
Shag, if you're watching this episode, give us a clue what's going on in this.
He'll probably just say Paul's way off base. What I love about it, just like the color palette, how he's able to combine colors, especially in the serigraph. You would look at this, and I don't remember, when they make a serigraph, it says this is a 6-color serigraph or a 7-color. And I'm not sure how many this is, but I'm always surprised. I always think it's more colors than are actually in the print, because he just does such a great job of, using the colors in different areas that you think there's a lot more colors in there than there really are. Because you've got the pops with the blue and the green and the purple, but they're reused in many different areas of the print. But once again, like we always say about a Shag print, looking at this, it's someplace I'd love to be. I wish I could be there, by the pool in one.
I do too.
Yeah.
As long as I'm not one of these dummies.
Yeah.
So, Paul, I have a feeling that this one takes place in Palm Springs.
You're very observant, Ray.
And I'll tell you what, this has my name written all over it. Look at you got the tikis going on, and that's
the tram, the aerial tram.
I've never done it. Have you done it?
I have.
Is it pretty scary?
It is a little scary.
That's why I haven't done it.
One really cool thing about the tram, when you take it to the top, you start at the desert floor where it's usually 110 degrees, 105. At the top it's 8,500 feet of elevation. It's actually considered an alpine forest when you get to the top.
Really?
Yeah. So when we went, when you get to the top, it's like 55 degrees, and it's amazing. A lot of times there's snow up there, so it's a pretty amazing thing just to see that change when you're in Palm Springs. So if you can handle the ride in the tram, I think now the tram actually, when it's going up, rotates, which could probably make me
that's great.
Yeah, make me even more nervous.
So are they coming up to the Tiki party, or are they going down to the Tiki party? That's the question. Is this the reef? Is that or Caliente Tropics, or is it just kind of like imaginary?
You know what, it's not specified, but that's what I always interpret it as, that this is the Caliente Tropics, because that's kind of the main Tiki hotel in Palm Springs, which is fantastic, and I've stayed there many times. So as you kind of said, this print speaks to you. This print for me has all the elements of Shag, that I love. First and foremost, plenty of Tiki. Yeah. My favorite color palette that Shag uses is something that has kind of oranges in there and these lighter blues. I love Palm Springs. It's just kind of like the quintessential Shag print for me.
What is the name of this one?
It's called Desert Polynesia.
Desert Polynesia. Okay.
Yeah, which really, just in that name, it kind of, it kind of explains the whole thing. It's Polynesia, in the desert, because you definitely get the cues of the desert. When you see cactus right away, you're like, oh, they're in desert, and the blazing hot sun.
And are any of these people anyone we know, or?
Is
that Baby Doe with the hat on, or because I know that's she?
There's times where he puts people in that specifically. I don't believe any of these are. When I first
this person's left-handed. Whoever's playing that guitar. Just saying.
Maybe that could be me if I was
left-handed. Is it you? There you go. And if you had a soul patch too.
If I. Which could you imagine anything cooler than getting put into a Shag painting?
Oh, I thought you were going to say wearing a soul patch. I'm like, no, not really, Paul. I think the 90s are long gone. Yeah. But I'll tell you what, I love this. I love this so much. And again, I'm the sucker for Shag's Tikis. And boom, boom, boom. It's great. Yeah. Again, obviously, if it is Caliente Tropics, it's not because I know there's other things around.
Yeah.
I think there's a Motel 6 across the street or something like that, but I want to go here.
Yeah.
Like wherever this is at in this dream world of Palm Springs. Again, he's even okay. Yeah, Palm Springs is a real place.
Yeah.
But even he's making this like alternative, escapist version of Palm Springs, and I love it.
Yeah, who wouldn't want to be there? They're obviously playing tropical music, having drinks, lounging at the pool,
and the most important thing. No ventriloquist dummies.
Not, yeah. You've got just a couple of people. It's not too crowded.
Yeah,
plenty of room to splash around in the pool and
sign me up. I'll stay here. I'll stay here
and drink your Mai Tai.
Yeah.
So one kind of interesting thing is I have this book.
What is it?
So this actually has So
really?
This is a Tiki weekend in Palm Springs. So there was actually a Tiki weekend where this print was released, and it was to help the Tiki Preservation Society in Palm Springs. So this was way back in 2002, which, gosh, it's crazy to think how long ago that was already. And even, I think it's fantastic, even at that time, they were worried about some of the, the remaining Tiki locations in the town.
When I went there, which was 2012, there was no Tiki bars. There was the Tropical.
Yeah.
Which was more just sort of... I mean, I guess it'd be a Tiki bar, but not really.
Yeah.
Like, I think their best drink I had was like a Blue Hawaiian.
Yeah.
But I remember then finally, Bootlegger Tiki opened up.
Yeah.
The Reef opened up at Caliente Tropics. Because that was like a different type of bar altogether.
That one had been through many different iterations before it became the Reef.
And then you got the Tono Hut.
Yeah.
So now you got 3 Tiki bars there.
Yeah.
And they're all great.
Yeah.
Well, I'm curious to see what the third print is.
Yeah.
And we'll see if there's any mannequins in it or any talking dummies. Or I can't wait. If you can't buy a Shag painting or print, you can always buy a Shag pillow. And is this one called Welcome to Palm Springs?
It is. And I've actually had this one a long time. It's looks a little beat up and probably a little bit stained from being on the couch for so long, but he has a lot of really cool pillows, and to me this is just kind of the essence of Shag, welcoming you to Palm Springs.
Yeah.
So I think this was a print. This image is also, I've seen it on bags, postcards, greeting cards, all kinds of different merchandise.
It makes me want to go to Palm Springs. Speaking of that, this is our third print. And is this one called Palm Springs Weekend?
It is called.
Oh, yes.
It's hard to get stuff past Ray.
So, oh man, is that T-Bird?
It is very observant. That was one of.
As soon as is that you? So that's you then. So Shag, he did one for your wedding, and then there's one.
It looks like my year 61 Thunderbird. Yeah. It basically almost the same color. So when I saw that, on top of everything else, I'm like, I have to have that print. That's definitely one of those moments where you're like, that's meant to be, that I need to have this print. And this was actually, I would say, one of the fewer Shag prints that I bought on the secondary market versus when it was originally sold, which you always pay more on the secondary market, but I definitely wanted to have it now. I have to take the time sometime and get it framed, because this is definitely a keeper. Like sort of the last print we looked at, I love the color palette. It's Palm Springs, it's the desert, it's warm. You've got the orange.
It almost seems, is this supposed to be taking place at dusk?
That's what I would take.
The sun's about ready to set.
Yeah.
And everything kind of has that orange glow to it, and either the orange glow is on everyone, or they're all that tanned.
Yeah.
Something you don't have to worry about living up here in the Pacific Northwest. We don't get any sun. I want to hang out with these people. Oh. I want to party with them.
The party's just getting started. It's kind of how I take this. Cocktails are starting. They're still swimming. Somebody pulled out their guitar. It's gonna be.
He's wearing a cowboy hat, so who knows what kind of music the guy is gonna play. But.
And the hotel is close by, so that's always key. When you've got the pool and your room's not too far away, you can go back and get another drink, more ice. Grab your, a towel or, a change of clothes after you've been swimming, and keep the party going. So one very interesting thing about this, and I'm not 100% sure if there's a tie-in.
Yeah.
But there's a movie. It's called Palm Springs Weekend. It was made in 1963.
Really?
Yeah, and it is such a fun. It's a very, like, if you're familiar with the term campy, it's a very.
That's my middle name.
Okay. Ray
Campy.
Campy.
Ray Campy. I'm gonna check out this movie.
Oh.
I'm gonna see who this guy at the cowboy hat is.
Well, there's a guy in the movie, and it's so basically kind of the premise is these college kids go to Palm Springs.
Yeah.
It's spring break, and then there's a lot of. But remember, it's 1963, so it's 1963 shenanigans versus if the movie if the movie was way today. But why I wonder if maybe it was the inspiration when Shag did the print is there is a guy that's always wearing a hat like this. There's a 63 Thunderbird, and the best part is it's driven in the movie and stars Robert Conrad, who he was still very young at that time, who then of course starred in Hawaiian Eye, a very Tiki TV show. And Connie Stevens is in it.
Yeah. Oh, Connie Stevens is in the movie.
Yeah, and I actually pulled up to take a look to see who all the people, because there's actually some for that time. So Troy Donahue, who was a big kind of heartthrob actor at that time. Stephanie Powers, Jerry Van Dyke, who
I'm gonna find this movie.
Dick Van Dyke's brother.
So you haven't seen it?
I have seen it.
Oh, you have seen it. Okay.
I have seen it, and it's it's fun because it's kind of some of it's so bad and campy it just makes it fantastic.
Kind of like those beach party movies.
Yeah, for sure.
And it's funny, like you say, early '60s shenanigans. Like they're gonna go on the beach after dark. They're
gonna push somebody into the pool.
Yeah. Oh no. But either way, though, I mean, the thing is, what I love about his paintings is like even as I'm just looking at this, and the more you look at it, and the more the different details pop out, you get sucked into it.
Yeah.
And even though this might have been a movie, I still want to be there. I still want to go there. And in the other two also, even with the one with the talking dummies, I don't want to hang out there. But the second one was really, really cool. I want to go to the second one.
Yeah.
And again, why I like Tiki is escapism.
Yeah.
And why I like Shag's prints is the escapism.
Absolutely. Which is something, everybody needs. Even if it's a few minutes where you're enjoying a drink and, this is hanging on your wall and you're looking at it and, imagining what some of the conversations are going on. But Shag, if you are watching again, we would love to know what your thought, or your inspiration was for this.
Well, I thought you were going to say, what's your thoughts on our show? I mean, all of a sudden, there's a thumbs down.
Yeah.
It's one thumbs down. You're like, well, I guess that's Shag, and I guess he doesn't like it. But I hope the people that are watching the show, I hope you are enjoying it, because I love going through your prints. Yeah. And you have so many, and I love them all. And again, thank you, Paul, for coming back on the show and having me over, and we'll be doing this again soon. Want to support the Tiki with Ray show and look cool doing it at the same time? Then head over to tikiwithray.com and buy yourself a Tiki with Ray shirt. They're only $20. Tony Canepa did the design, and they're screen printed in America.